Welcome to the Sunday Show with Ash the Pap. We're going to be talking all things showbiz, everything that's happened over the last 7 days, stuff that I've shot, stuff that I'm commenting on, stuff that we've read about. We're going to give my opinions on pretty much everything, maybe let you into some stories with the celebs. And yeah, stick with me. It's going to be on YouTube and other platforms, and we're going to give this a go on a weekly show. That rhymes. So first up, we're talking Peter Kay. So on Monday, we went to Bolton for a meeting. We had a meeting in Bolton and we were staying up there. We had a meeting on Monday evening. That went really, really well. That was something to do with business. And on Tuesday morning, woke up, lazy morning, as you do, and went to get a sausage roll. Headed off to this bakery on Google Maps down the road. Literally, me and my mate wanted to get a sausage roll. He, annoyingly, is driving an electric car. So for about I don't know how many times he charged that car between Kent and Bolton, but it's more times than I am comfortable with. Anyway, he was once again charging the car. So I said, well, I'll go and get us some food and I'll meet you back here. Anyway, got to this bakery, and as I was pulling into the car park, I looked across the car park and this guy was getting out, and I was like, he looks familiar. And then I double took and I was like, it's Peter Kay. So we'd tried to shoot him the week before in Brighton. I'll stick up the picture here. But we tried to shoot him the week before in Brighton, and lo and behold, he's literally wearing exactly the same clothes as he was in Brighton. So that's why I recognised him. Anyway, I quickly pulled into a space and jumped in the back of the van. And he went into a bakery and got a bacon bap. Anyway, took the pictures, watched him get in this, I won't say what car he was driving, but a very low-key car, and drive off. Drive off. I'm not going to say what he did while he was in the car, because it's illegal and you shouldn't be using your phone. But anyway, that's another story. So he drove off. Anyway, sold the pictures, thought nothing of it. 2 days later, we have got now people will always ask me what this means, but we've received a legal from Peter Kay, the company has, with various wild demands on it, like things like we have to sign the copyright over to Peter Kay. They want us to send a kill notice to all the newspapers, so they can't print the pictures anymore. We're doing an undertaking that we won't photograph Peter Kay ever again. All this wild stuff because he was in a bakery in a public place. Like, this isn't a bakery on a private estate in a private home. This is a bakery that you, me, and anyone else can go to and might be like, oh my God, it's Peter Kay. Oh, Peter, can I get a picture with you, please, mate? So yeah, I was really shocked. I mean, this solicitor's letter goes on to say that Peter Kay should be allowed privacy in a public place, even though he's on CCTV and all the rest of it. He should be allowed privacy and doesn't consent to pictures in a public place, which is irrelevant. I mean, I would suggest if Mr. Kay has a problem with being pictured or his image being captured in public places, he perhaps could think about a move to North Korea, or I believe China's quite strict on that sort of stuff, maybe even Russia. But possibly living in the UK and Bolton isn't the place for him. I mean, I did have a look. Over the last sort of 10 years, Peter Kay has been papped around 5 times. So once every 2 years, he's been captured in a public setting, on his own. They listed a load of court cases where celebrities have won against paparazzi and or picture agencies capturing images of celebs. But I mean, they used absolutely ridiculous court cases. So one was Naomi Campbell against the national newspaper where they printed her private medical information. Another one was Paul Webber and his children out and about. and another one was J.K. Rowling and her children. And obviously Peter Kay was on his own. He didn't have his children with him. I wouldn't dream of shooting the man with his kids, especially when no one even knows how many children the man's got, or even if he's got children. I mean, I think he said he has children, but he certainly has never said what children he has or how many. So I wouldn't dream of shooting that. In response to it, am I going to reply to the legal letter? Absolutely not. The company that he uses are bullies, for want of a better word. Most people, if they read the letter, would be incredibly scared. But it doesn't affect me. I've not done anything wrong. And as a rule, I said this to someone earlier on in the week, as a photographer and as an agency, we don't get legals. We don't get complaints. We do everything by the book for that very reason. We don't want that hassle. That's not what we're here for. We don't want to upset people. We just want to do everything the right way and the way it should be done. Anyway, moving on from Peter Kay and his agginess. One of the questions I often get asked is, do you delete pictures? If someone asks you to delete pictures, do you delete pictures? Or do things get shot and never get sold? I don't delete pictures. Sometimes it's not worth selling. Sometimes there's a bigger picture to look at. But occasionally we have some really great stuff and you just can't sell it. For love nor money, you can't sell it. And we did have one of those occasions a couple of years ago. A young lady called, well, not young, but a lady called Irina Shayk, who is Bradley Cooper's ex-girlfriend. She is a model, I believe a Russian model. I was at an event in London. She'd been photographed going in the front door, and where this place is, a place called 22, and there's like a basement event space, and that basement has got like an outside area, but it's like below street level. So, if you walk along in London, sometimes you can look over and you can see people's basements where they go down steps. So there's no steps, but there was a basement, an outdoor smoking area. Anyway, I'm standing there talking to other photographers and paps. I could smell the old wacky backy. And I thought, who's doing that? And I'm looking around. Anyway, I glanced over the railings and she was there puffing away on like a tiny little roll-up thing. So I just popped my phone out and videoed her, and she passes it around to other people. I'm showing the video here. And then towards the end of the video, she happens to just glance up like that, and she points, and I end the video and I go on my heels because she runs through the door, and I knew she was coming out. And she came out and was shouting at everyone and wanted to find me and who had done it and blah, 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 blah. I tried to sell that because obviously it was clearly wacky backy. I tried to sell that and no one would buy it, annoyingly. And obviously I didn't have this platform then, so it just died a death. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to show that. I'm going to use that on my first little video, my first sort of, I don't know whether this is a podcast or a weekly roundup YouTube show. I'm not sure what it is at the moment. It's very new, it's in its infancy. But we are using it to show the world Irina Shayk smoking the wacky backy. So yeah, so what couldn't get published because people were too worried about, they didn't believe that if there was any comebacks off it, that it would be worth the reward. But I don't believe there can be a comeback on it, because it was in a public place, and such is life. If you are going to smoke a joint, or what appears to be a joint and smells like a joint, in a public place where there are paps and you are famous, more for you. If it then gets captured on video and or pictures, the only person to blame is always going to be you, not me. And let that be a lesson to you. Anyway, moving on from little life lessons, Harry Styles. Got some interesting stories about Harry Styles, which we might do now. I don't know, I'll think about it over the next 20 seconds. But he's releasing new music in March, which means wonderful Harry, is projected back into the limelight. Now, many years ago, I'm going to tell the story. Many years ago, I was asked by an agency I worked for then, long before I had an agency. I mean, I've been doing this 15 years, so probably maybe 13 or 14 years ago, I was asked to get some pictures of Harry Styles, and he was going to be wherever he was going to be at some event or something. Anyway, I was on my way to that event and I saw his car pulling into a road that wasn't far from the event. So I pulled into the road. I didn't realise he'd already left, but he was in the back of this car. So I pulled into this road and he went down the end of the road. Anyway, it turns out it was his house. Or it wasn't his house. It was his friend's house, apparently. But he was staying there. It was a long time ago. I was a lot younger. And this business was definitely different. But I ended up outside this guy's house. And there was another photographer who had been behind him. And he doesn't do the job anymore for lots of various reasons. But he jumped out of the car and I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Like, normally I would have just driven off. So I got out the car to photograph him and Harry just sat in the car and stayed in the car. And I was like, oh, this is awkward. And I sort of tried talking to him through the window, just being like, oh, is there any chance you could just do a few pictures? I mean, listen, I wouldn't dream of doing that now, but then I did. And he just stayed in the car, and then the driver got out. Now I do know the driver, not like he's not a tipper or anything like that. But often the driver will be stood outside somewhere, and you are waiting for a celeb, and the two of you will have a conversation. You get to know each other, and he handed me a bit of paper. Anyway, that bit of paper was a cease and desist, what they call a cease and desist. So it's basically saying that Mr. Styles doesn't wish to be photographed, he wishes to be left alone, he is on personal business, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, that was that, and whatever, I left. And I haven't, to this day, ever photographed Harry Styles again. Still. Not for any other reason other than I feel like it could be ag. I feel like he really doesn't want it. So I just don't try and search it out. I don't try and shoot him, which I know the fans are like, oh, I know the fans in two breaths will be like, oh, that's really nice. Like he asked and he hasn't done it. And I get that. But on the flip side of it, the fans will be like, oh, but we want content on Harry Styles. So yeah, I do get it. So yeah, that was Harry Styles. And I haven't photographed him since. Lucky Harry. Anyway, he's releasing new music, so me and him might end up bumping into each other again. Harry, if you do end up bumping into Ash the Pap, not that you're probably watching this, but if you do, can I have a picture with? And can we have a cuddle? And can there not be any ag? It's been a long time. A lot of water under the bridge. Right, next thing. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, I spent the day in Bermondsey with a friend of mine. He had a tip, very, very good tip, that a removal company that was moving Andrew Mountbatten's worldly goods, was storing them at a unit in Bermondsey. So we spent Friday all day in Bermondsey waiting to picture this truck, if it turned up, unloading all of Prince Andrew's teddy bears. And lo and behold, the truck did turn up. So that was really good. What wasn't so great is that they reversed it up to a roller shutter door, opened the doors, and then you couldn't see anything. So we couldn't actually see what they were taking out of the truck, which was a tad annoying. But such is life. But you will see that in this Sunday's newspapers, the story anyway, in the Sun and the Mirror. because we did get it away as a story. But yeah, sometimes that does happen. But yeah, interesting job. Why he's using a royal warranted company to move his prized possessions, I have no idea. He's not a royal, and I don't think he should be. He's clearly using royal warranted companies to get a discount and or for free. But anyway, another royal job this week, well, not a royal job, but a royal story that we sold was Kate Middleton, one of our esteemed team members, saw on Facebook that a cafe in Berkshire called the Fungi Club or the Fungi Cafe had posted a note about how Kate Middleton had gone in there for lunch with her mum and her sister for her birthday, and that they'd enjoyed 3 courses and that she was ever so wonderful. So we sold that as a story this week, which was quite good. The only reason I'm talking about that on here is if you are watching this or listening to it and you do have any stories, celeb gossip that you think a newspaper would want, drop me a message, because we might be able to make you a few quid. That's why I thought I'd put this on here. The email address is ash@clicknewsandmedia.com if you want to drop me an email. But yeah, we should definitely we'll have a conversation if you ever get any showbiz gossip. I know this is... I'm working my way through these and I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible. But bear with me, this is the first time I'm doing this. And I am not a presenter, nor a broadcaster, nor a journalist. So this is going to get better as the weeks go on, for sure. And the camera angles will definitely get better. And I do know that the content is great. So stay with me. But moving on to my next little story and a bit of a personal input. Jack Fincham says he's got only 20 quid to his name and he needs to go to rehab. This is a story that was on The Sun yesterday. Now, I have shot Jack Fincham over probably the last year. There's a couple of videos on my other social media accounts of him and his girlfriend at the time. I think I first came into shooting him. First time I came into shooting him was when he was little Danny Dyer. They were seeing each other after Love Island. But more recently, he was jailed for his dog biting somebody and then consequently released, and I was involved in shooting the first pictures of him out and about once he got an appeal later on in the day. But yeah, this whole rehab thing and Jack Fincham, I read it yesterday and I'm a bit done with it, you know. Like, Jack, mate, we do know each other, and I have told you this before, but rehab's free. So it doesn't matter if you've got 20 quid to your name. I'm a little bit fed up, right? So for those of you who don't know, I have been in a form of recovery from a gambling addiction for the last 12 years. I haven't had a bet for 12 years. I haven't had a drink for nearly 2 years. I haven't done all the mad stuff for rather a long time. But I have a lot of time and a lot of respect for people who are in recovery. But what I can't stand is people using it for clout, for want of a better word. And that, unfortunately, is what Jack Fincham is doing. He has sold a story where he does what we call a sit down. So he sat down with a journalist and a photographer and they've taken pictures and he's spoken his truth. He's done that with The Sun. And, you know, the reality is there's Alcoholics Anonymous, there's Cocaine Anonymous, there's lots of AA groups that he can go to that are completely free. He could go to a meeting a night and it wouldn't cost him a penny. He doesn't need to go to rehab. Like not the only solution is rehab. Like, you have meetings every single night. So I just wanted to talk about it because I am fed up with celebs coming out and talking in this sort of way about this sort of stuff when they're just doing it for clout. Because I do wish him the absolute best, but the way to get clean is to not selling a story to the Sun is not the way you get clean. Anyway, moving on to more wrongdoings. David Walliams was pictured a couple of days ago by a lady on TikTok who has videoed him going into a theatre. She was very polite. She was like, "Can we see you again? Well, we're going to see you again on TV soon, David." And he looks like someone has just crapped in their hands and clapped his face. It's pretty... says a lot, really. My opinions on David Walliams: he has attempted to, on multiple occasions, sue photographers for taking his picture. Like, he was in Primrose Hill Park and he tried to sue a couple of friends of mine for just seeing him out and about and photographing him. One guy, it cost him about, and this was quite a few years ago, probably over 10 years ago, it cost him £25,000 to defend this in court. Granted, he won, David Walliams lost, but it cost him a lot of money and David Walliams wouldn't cover his costs. And I've always said I know I shouldn't say that, but I've always said I wouldn't trust him with someone I cared about. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And lastly, a bit of an upbeat one, rather than the old doom and gloom stories, a bit of a positive one. So December 10, I don't know if any of you are following this new band, but I have had the privilege of shooting them in December, ironically, in December. I haven't shot them since. But they were all nice young lads, and I noticed yesterday that they have completely sold out a introducing tour where they are going to be singing some of their new music, and they put up, I think it was 5 or 6 dates around the country, and they've had to triple those dates. So they're doing 3 gigs on each day in the venues, because the venues had no other days that they could fit them in. So they're doing 3 gigs at each venue now, and they have sold everything out in under 10 minutes. Bravo. These guys haven't even released a single yet, and they are selling out, places like the O2 Institute in London, Birmingham, O2, fairly big venues. So, yeah, great work by them, and I look forward to seeing them performing this year later on. I think it's next month. It is next month. Yeah, next month. 16th of February it starts. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully I will be going to shoot it. But yeah, this is the weekly roundup. It has been a quiet week. Hopefully as time goes on, we'll have more stuff. I'm hoping to have some guests on, maybe even some celebs, where we can ask them about paparazzi and their opinions on them. But yeah, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and let's turn this into a weekly roundup that, a few of you actually watch and get into, and possibly even listen to while you're in the car. But thank you for watching the last 20 minutes, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you here back next week for more fun, games and gossip.